Hey, here we are. Good morning, everyone. Good evening, everyone, whatever time of day you're seeing this. Today, we're looking at the principal's secret weapon, how to stop getting distracted. Now, I know I've talked to some principals, and they say that they're people just don't believe all the constraints that principals have. And so I'm asking you, do you believe that supervisors just come into your building and they're just giving directives? And do you think that they don't understand the schoolhouse challenges? I remember that frustration. I know how it feels, and it feels irritating. Even one of our principals that's in our emerging principals mastermind said that, central office forgets that we put fires out and we can't miss a day because so much happens. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the principal's secret weapon to keep from getting distracted. As Michael Jordan says, when you come across something, and as many other great people have said, when you come across something, you either, you go under it, you go over it, you go around it, but you don't let it stop what you have planned. So I know there were times, for example, when there was a new supervisor, who had just been hired. I was basically a new principal. And this supervisor told me that I needed to do X, Y, Z, and when I needed it done, and when she was expecting that to be turned in. And I was just all upset because I had told my teachers that this was a deadline that I had established, and this was the other deadline that I had established. But here you have central office supervisors coming in telling you what their expectations are. But now let me explain to you and make it perfectly clear that the supervisors are going to be supervisors. Central administration is going to be central administration, and you are going to have to run your school. That means that when you have your vision, when you have your focus, you are going to have to intertwine whatever central administration is saying into what you have. You cannot go somewhere, sit in the corner, groups of new principals or returning principals or even veteran principals, and talk about how bad central administration is treating you and how they come in with different requirements, and you need that to stop. Well, certainly you can express your opinion. But as far as central office administration is concerned, that's just the way they are. And I just want you to not get frustrated. I want you to deal with central office administration, deal with the supervisors, and protect your teachers. You have to figure that out. You have to figure out how you're going to protect your teachers. But there are some things that you can be doing to make sure not only you are protecting yourself from supervisors, but you are protecting yourself from yourself. And the first thing is to establish critical activities. Now, as a principal, we have jillions of activities that we could be a part of. And for some strange reason, we know that we always put off the tough activities. And we choose to just go on and do something that's easy. And then we look up at the end of the day and we say, there's not enough time. Well, we all are given the same amount of time. It's just a matter of how we use it. So let's not get that confused. So you principals, here is establishing a critical activity, and that is to prioritize your critical activities, the ones that directly contribute to your school's success. You have to determine the kind of tasks and responsibilities that are most significant and the ones that are going to impact the achievement, your vision, your mission, and your goals. So if your vision is established that you will have 100% of your 8th grade students to meet minimum standard in Algebra 1, then that's your focus. Don't have anything else to take you off that focus. So when you focus on the activities that you have set aside to make sure that all of your 8th graders are going to master the Algebra 1 test, then that's your focus. So another focus could be that you have lots of new teachers on your campus. You can have a focus that you are going to focus on instructional leadership. Now, you want to focus on teacher development. You want to focus on curriculum planning. You want to focus on student support. When you have those big blocks focused, then that other stuff, it can't take you off of your plan. So what you have to do is regularly review and refine that list, align that list with your vision, and then move on to allow other things to happen, but knowing that you're going to stay on your focus. Your central office administration, they're like shiny objects, they're going to get your attention, but you can't just have that shiny object to get your full attention. You know what you have established as the vision on your campus and the mission on your campus. Now, I know, this may seem, a little, oh, Dr. Polk, we know how to do all of this. I mean, but let's get down to the crux of things. All right. So number 2, you're going to create a weekly execution plan. Now, that weekly execution plan is what takes place on Monday morning, or it could be Friday evening before you leave. That weekly execution plan is going to outline what you want to be accomplished by the end of the week. It's a 5-day plan. This is not a to-do list. A to-do list goes from here to eternity, and it never gets done. And another thing, principals, just as a reminder, you do know that your job will never get done. It will never get done. So if you say, well, I have to go into the office on Saturday, or I have to go by there, on Sunday. When I get to school on Monday morning, it's like I heard somebody say, you get up in the morning and you're all energetic until you get to school. Okay? But don't let that school be a surprise. You are the one who is the driver. So you have your 5-day time frame. That means that you are breaking down your critical activities into manageable weekly steps. So if one of your critical activities is to see 5 teachers and to help them develop their instruction, then you're not going to let anything take that off of you. That's what you're going to do. If you have a 90-day plan in place, then that's your focus. And I'm not talking about a campus improvement plan. I'm talking about a 90-day plan that you have in place in order to achieve the goals that you have. And this time of year, when you are working on tests, that plan has to be in place. So you are going to make that plan every week. You're going to do it in advance. You are allocating your time, you're allocating your resources, and you know what things are urgent. So when you do that weekly execution plan, you are preparing for any challenges that you may get, like a supervisor coming in, or like a disgruntled parent coming in. So you're not going to set, but 4 or 5 things that you have to do that week. And that gives you space to deal with all of that other minutia that comes in. So you are going to do a weekly execution of the plan. And by having that plan, you're going to take care of any unforeseen things. And then you'll have flexibility to stay on course and continue making your progress despite all the disruptions. And once you do all of that, you gotta check. It's a game. This is a game that we're playing. And in every game, you have to know whether you are winning or whether you are losing. So you are going to have to look at your what's called your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Use some type of scorecard. Use something to track your performance. You can create a dashboard. You can create a sheet. Anything to see where you are in the game. So this scorecard is going to allow you to identify whether you have been successful for the week or if there are some things that need improvement. And I guarantee you there are going to be some things that need improvement, because if you're just keeping a scorecard on the activities that you have planned for the week on your list, and again, we're not talking about a to-do list. We are talking about things that are going to move the needle on your vision, your mission, and your core values. Again, I say for your vision, if you have it that you want to work on teacher development, you want to work on student success, then that's going to be your score. So you're going to review that score, and you're going to hold yourself accountable. You're going to hold your teams accountable, because not only are you going to do the list, but you're going to show them how to do a list and to check for the accountability. And one other thing, this list, I would suggest that you and your team decide to do this list together, because you are all looking at the same vision, you're looking at the same mission, you have the same focus. And that way you can have data that's going to enable you to reach your goal, or find out that you're not reaching your goal, identify areas where you need some intervention. And then, of course, you're going to celebrate your success as a school administrator. So those are the things that I'm suggesting that you do, principals, so that you will not be walking around complaining about central administration. Central administration just comes in and just barges on what you have planned. They are here's a secret. They are not going to check with you to see if the plans they have align with the individual plans that you have in your school. It's not going to happen. So what do? You prepare for it. You prepare the best you can. And you do that by, number one, establishing your critical activities. Don't just do anything and everything. It's not a to-do list. Your critical activities. And the second thing is to create your weekly execution plan. And a weekly execution plan is not a to-do list. It is those 3 to 4 critical things that you as the principal want to accomplish that week, that's tied to your vision, your mission, and your core values. You're going to do that 5 days. And then after the 5 days, and of course, I'm saying you not only do that by yourself, you do that with your team so that you're all on the same accord. And then you're going to do a scorecard. You're going to implement a scorecard. You can implement a sheet. You can implement a dashboard to see where you are during these critical times. Now, I know you say, well, Dr. Polk, I'm talking about the central office administration. I'm talking about supervisors. Well, I'm talking about the same thing. When you have everything in place, there's nobody or anything that can come and knock you off or move you away from your goal, from your mission, from your core values. That includes a fire drill. That includes an upset parent. That includes a teacher being upset. What else can happen? That includes a fight. That includes a special program that you have. I don't care how many things happen. When you have established for that week what you are going to accomplish, once you're finished with that minutia, then you go get back to where your focus is. So that's what we're talking about when we're saying principals' secret weapon, how to stop getting distracted. And in our Principals Mastermind, Emerging Principals Mastermind, this is what we do. This is what we talk about. We get these things off of our chest. And for those of you who are interested in becoming a part, you just look at the script that we have, and you can join that. But let me tell you something else too. You know that you need a group that you can refer to. You know that you have tried to do this yourself with your other principals, and it's not a priority. So that means that you don't follow up. And then when you get back together again during your monthly principals meeting, you start complaining again. But with this emerging principals group, you have the opportunity to focus twice a month, have office hours, and it's something that is planned. It is not something that you don't put on your list, or it's a part of your to-do list. And you know, it's almost like setting your goal for the beginning of the year, setting your resolution. You know, you talked about it, you walked about it, but guess what? You're not doing it. And it's not going to get accomplished unless you take some action. It's not going to be accomplished like you say, well, I'm going to go to the gym. Well, it's in your head. It's not going to be accomplished until you execute it. And that's my purpose, to make sure that you execute, to make sure that you say what you do and you do what you say. You know that having a group of principals with like-mindedness, having the same kinds of needs is something that you need to do. The other thing is that you need to take action. That's all I'm saying. You need to take action. Do I need this? I don't need this. I needed somebody to help me. I struggled a lot. I made a lot of mistakes. I did receive calls from the superintendent asking me what the heck was I doing. I did get turned down for the things that my campus needed, and I didn't know how to get it because I had been turned down. I do know what it feels like to tell your teachers that you're going to take something to central administration for it to be approved, and it gets turned down, and you walk into the room and you tell your teachers that whatever it is that they wanted got turned down. And how do you answer the question, so what are you going to do about it? That's what I want to know. What are you going to do about it? So here is where we are. What are you going to do about it? That was a question that was asked of me. What am I going to do about it? The only place I had to turn was my office, and to close the door and to look at the walls and put my hand in my head and say, I don't know what to do. I didn't have anybody to call who I could trust to say, you know, here's the situation. You just don't understand my supervisor. You just don't understand my assistant superintendent. But if I would have had a place where I felt safe, because, you know, as principals, a lot of us don't feel safe in our environments to even talk about something that is a problem within our administration. You know, we get labeled, and you want to move up the ladder. Many of you don't want to be a principal always. You do want to move up the central administration because you want to be able to give them the opportunity to see how it feels, because you understand how it feels being a principal. But when you start, you know, complaining among yourselves, and if you're in a small community, the chances of anything happening like that are slim and none. They'll go out and get somebody else. So, Principals on the come up. That's what we are, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. And today we're talking about the principal's secret weapon, how to stop getting distracted. And that's it today, y'all. We'll see you next time. Principals on the come up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. See you next time.